Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency and the foundation of the entire blockchain industry. Its white paper, titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, was published in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto and describes a system for electronic transactions that does not rely on trust or centralized intermediaries. At the time of its release, online payments typically required trusted third parties such as banks or payment processors. These intermediaries introduced costs, delays, and the risk of fraud. The Bitcoin white paper presented a solution, a purely peer-to-peer system that allows direct transfers of value between parties without needing a central authority. The core innovation of Bitcoin is the combination of cryptographic signatures, a distributed network of participants, and proof-of-work consensus to achieve agreement on a shared ledger of transactions. The white paper explains that electronic coins are essentially digital signatures in a chain. Each owner transfers the coin to the next by digitally signing a hash of the previous transaction and the public key of the recipient. This creates a verifiable record of ownership transfer. However, a major challenge arises. Without a central authority, how do all participants know which transactions are valid and in what order they occurred? Satoshi's answer was the blockchain, a distributed public ledger maintained by nodes running the Bitcoin software. In the Bitcoin system, nodes bundle transactions into blocks. To add a block to the chain, nodes must perform proof of work, which involves finding a hash value that meets certain difficulty requirements. This requires substantial computational effort and ensures that adding new blocks takes time and energy. Proof of work makes it difficult for an attacker to alter the transaction history, since they would need to redo the work for all subsequent blocks. Once a block is accepted by the majority of nodes and added to the chain, its transactions are considered confirmed. The longest valid chain always represents the correct transaction history, since it has the most cumulative proof of work. The white paper emphasizes that proof of work addresses the problem of double spending, where a dishonest user might attempt to spend the same coins more than once. In a decentralized system, double spending is prevented by consensus. Nodes only accept the longest chain, and because proof of work requires resources, an attacker would need more computational power than the rest of the network combined in order to successfully rewrite the chain. This is called the 51% attack scenario. The difficulty adjustment mechanism ensures that blocks are produced on average every 10 minutes, regardless of the total network hash power. This provides stability and predictability to the system. Incentives are another crucial part of the design. To motivate participants to contribute computational power and secure the network, Bitcoin introduces block rewards. The node that successfully finds the valid proof of work for a block is rewarded with newly created Bitcoins plus any transaction fees included in the block. This aligns the interests of miners with the health of the network. Over time, the block's subsidy halves approximately every 4 years, eventually approaching zero, leaving transaction fees as the primary incentive. This mechanism not only rewards miners but also introduces new Bitcoins into circulation in a predictable, decreasing supply schedule that ultimately caps the total supply at 21 million coins. The white paper also addresses network communication and efficiency. Transactions are broadcast to all nodes, and nodes work to collect them into blocks. Because the system tolerates some level of delay and latency, not all nodes need to see every transaction instantly. As long as transactions propagate through the network and blocks are built on top of one another, the system remains consistent. Nodes can leave and rejoin the network at will, always catching up by downloading and verifying the longest chain. This resilience is a key feature of Bitcoin's decentralized nature. Another important concept in the white paper is simplified payment verification, also known as SPV. Not all users need to run full nodes that store and validate the entire blockchain. Instead, lightweight clients can verify transactions by connecting to the network and checking the longest chain and block headers. This makes Bitcoin more accessible to ordinary users without sacrificing security, since SPV clients can still detect invalid or fraudulent chains. Security analysis in the white paper shows that as long as honest nodes control the majority of computing power, the system is secure. An attacker with less power would find it exponentially difficult to catch up and overtake the honest chain. Each block added to the chain increases the security of previous transactions. After several confirmations, the probability of reversal becomes vanishingly small. This probabilistic finality is a key feature of Bitcoin. Transactions are not instantly irreversible, but the security increases with time and depth in the chain. The Bitcoin whitepaper also highlights privacy and pseudonymity. While transactions are recorded publicly on the blockchain, users are identified only by their public keys. This provides a level of privacy, though not complete anonymity, since patterns can still be analyzed. The design balances transparency with practical privacy, allowing auditing of the ledger while avoiding direct linkage to real-world identities. In summary, the Bitcoin whitepaper describes a system for electronic cash that enables peer-to-peer payments without relying on trust. It introduces the blockchain as a distributed ledger secured by proof of work, prevents double spending through consensus on the longest chain, incentivizes participation with block rewards, and offers scalability through simplified verification. With its limited supply and decentralized structure, Bitcoin represents a fundamental break from traditional monetary systems. What began as a 9-page technical paper has since grown into a global financial phenomenon, inspiring thousands of other cryptocurrencies and applications. For more insights on Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and decentralized electronic cash systems, remember to like, subscribe, and keep learning here at Crypt.